Free, Dr. Yo. This is WNT9 Radio, and I'm your host, Bro.Ntelek.
And this is Brother African Man Born, and today, welcome everybody to another show on WNT9 Radio, and we have a special guest, Treasta Benton. How you doing?
Very bad. So we got the sister on the line today in discussions of relationships. Before we get into that, you have an Egyptian name, right?
Yes, I do. It's Estera, but I know that's that.
Yeah. So in regards to relationships, you know, we doing these interviews, and we definitely appreciate you giving us a call and sharing your stories with us right here on WNT9. What's your longest relationship you've been in?
It's kind of hard to answer that question truthfully because I've had longer friendship relationships, and I've had mate relationships. It was like the title. The title kind of ended the relationship once there was a title on it.
You said the title. You said the
title
title.
Okay, you're my man. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Once that became, we were like, oh, okay, what are we doing here? Are you my man, or am I your woman, or however that goes? I want you to be my lady, or however it goes. Whatever we had before that moment, just kind of flew out the window.
Wow, that's interesting.
In meaning, because things were fine. Things were fine, which made us even want to say that to each other. Like we were friendship, we were communicating, we weren't jealous, we weren't bossy, we weren't demanding, we were caring. And there's a moment that we decided to say, oh, okay, well, I want you to be mine, or I want you to be in this relationship, or I want to be in a relationship with you. Then it kind of changes. Because then it's like these rules that go along with a relationship that are already unspoken, that are being done naturally, without the title.
So that brings me to a question. What about relationships? Like, what is the difference between, because, when you're with somebody, as opposed to when you're friends with somebody, I want people to know that, like from your point of view, what is the difference between a mated relationship and just a regular friendship relationship, which they're both relationships, but explain to us the difference.
True.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so my observation of it and my own personal experience has been that, like I said, we were friends, we communicated, we were open, honest, truthful, we were caring. Certain things were just natural. The natural things that you do with someone that you have simple care and concern for just come natural. And then with the relationship, once it turns to, okay, you're my man, we have this title of we're in a relationship, then it turns into, okay, these rules. Okay, now we can't talk about our past relationships and crack up and laugh. It's more jealousy. jealousy comes involved, obsession comes involved.
Wow.
Just like some negative attributes start coming to the surface that weren't there as friends when there was nothing wrong with the relationship before we decided to make it a relationship. Understood? Anybody have you experienced that?
No, I think 95% of the population on the planet have experienced that, you know.
Yeah, but it seems like to the point of power to me.
So the question that I have, because that was a great answer, and I think a lot of people don't realize when they get into relationships that there's like you said, certain rules, and now are these rules based on our culture as because I think that's it's something that needs to be addressed as far as like what do we do culturally as far as relationships, or what should we do culturally, you know what I mean? As far as relationships, what do you think about?
For me, what I think about that?
Yeah, what do you think about those rules, and like, is it based on something that we should be, you know, is it based on our, like, what we say relationships should be like?
I think it's natural. I think it's it becomes unnatural because you're following rules that are like under in this relationship was that we don't know who made that relationship with us. What we were doing before we decided to pick up the relationship was natural. It was like we were doing things simple care and concern. If I was hungry, I get you something to eat. You know, hey, I'm at the grocery store. You need something? But now it's like because I got me something to eat. I got me something to eat after I got off work before I came home and didn't bring me nothing. Or I make you a cake, you got food when you come home from work. You know, in a relationship, and you go in the kitchen and go get yourself a napkin and pour yourself something to drink. Don't bring me nothing. You know, as opposed to before we were friends, it was like, here, you need a napkin. Here, you got something to drink. What you want to drink? You know, it's more so things that are just natural. And then all of a sudden, it's just, I don't really understand the mentality of that flip and the switch. How it happens. And I try to be like, point it out. Be like, why you didn't give me that? And then it turns into, why you tripping? You know, finger pointing, blaming, and tripping. It's just turns into a bunch of negative attributes. Like I said,
So
I think personally that it's not our cultural way. I do not feel like that is the way it's supposed to be. This is like how it is naturally once you made it up, once you have sex or whatever the situation is, once you have that agreement in the first place before the relationship conversation came about, however things were right then was how they were supposed to be.
So do you really think that excuse me, do you really think that well, let me just put it out there the way that I see it. In regards to what you said, I don't think anything is natural. I think that the act or the thought or the whole concept of something being natural doesn't exist. Like that whole because you got to play a role regardless. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm hearing from you is that he you know, the gentleman, the brother, the friend, whoever he was to you, he just changed. It was a paradigm shift, you know what I'm saying? And he no longer played the part that he once played. Well, that might be the case. For a lot of brothers, that's the case. For a lot of women, that's the case. Once people get what they initially are looking for, they tend to go the other way or stop pretending or acting, you know, a certain way. But so to me, that's why I don't think that this whole natural thing even exists, because people could play out a role, and when you look at it, you know, it's nonstop. Like once you meet somebody, you be like, wow, this is just beautiful. Everything is we're in tune with each other. That's still a role. Two people are playing a role. We're all actors. We're all acting. It's just that some of us choose to act in accordance, agreeably with each other. So,
Okay. That makes sense.
you know what I'm saying. So like when you meet a person who they get to a point where they no longer are acting right, we say you're not acting right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's really the point where you realize that. Yeah, you just get to a point where you say, okay, do you realize that you're no longer where you once were? Like your mental state is different. Your perception is different. Shahrazad Ali and several others have put out information on relationships, and she was instrumental in saying that our mind doesn't control us, we control it. Like whatever you put into it, it's just like a computer. Whatever you put into it, it's gonna master it. It's gonna be hungry for it. It wants more of that. So, and we become what we put into our minds. If you believe that, if you put a concept into your mind that you're the fastest runner, then you become that fastest runner by your research and working out and exercising and eating right and doing all the things that you need to do to be the fastest runner. Like you got to be in it to win it. So what happens with someone in the race who wins the race and now he's got so many medals? At some point, what do? Like most successful runners, what they do is they listen to their body. Their body say, well, you're losing the races now. It's time to retire. You know what I'm saying? But then there's another level of, athletes who say, I'm gonna just go to another team. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens in relationships.
My word was bored. You get bored with it.
For some, that's what they put into their mind. That is they're bored because they just don't. To me, it's just about commitment. Some people are not committed. You know what I mean? So they say it's boring because they're afraid of commitment. They're afraid to get in there and make adjustments. And to me, that's.
The thing about it is, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with the majority of it. But why play? Why can't somebody just be real and say, well, look, I don't want a relationship. I just want to, like they got cut buddies. People have been cut buddies for many years, 20 years. I know people who go in and out of each other's lives. They may even be married and still deal with this person that's their cut buddy. The whole other thing. They still have a great relationship, but then they never, like when they were single, both of them were single, and they tried to get with each other. It didn't work. But when they're not in that relationship, they're the coolest couple.
Right.
Why do you think that though?
I think most people in that situation is because the satisfaction is not the only thing that's in that relationship. It's kind of like when you look at like what the brother said about commitment. See, the commitment is not just the satisfactory part, the cutting and all that. That's satisfaction. That's the part that that people enjoy physically. You know what I mean? But it's like the mental connection, the commitment. You know what I mean? So like that's why when I asked you about the natural, like is it our natural way? It was a great answer to that. It's not natural for certain things because we look at the relationships and the society. Not everybody does this. Right? In this society, it's about satisfaction. You know what I mean? Who's satisfying this way, financially, sexually, all these other things, and these are things which is why you can't talk to your significant other about your exes, even though that was something you could do before, because y'all were just friends, y'all wasn't in that type of relationship. So that's why it's, the people that hear this interview, they need to hear, especially young people, they need to hear, you know, these issues in relationships because it's an issue. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a lot of marriage.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? We have a lot of single parents, especially mothers. It's usually mothers because they can't leave the child. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that we have to address in the man in the female relationship. You see what I'm saying? So when, like, it was great the way you answered the question as far as, like, you know, it's not natural. You know what I mean? Because you already feel that. You feel that in your spirit, and you saw that it's not natural. And, you know, and it allows us to be a certain way. So with all of that being said, right, the question that I have, right, because this is a good segue, and both of everything that we talk, I love this type of conversation in this interview, and this is very important, is that what do you think we should do, knowing all of this? You know what I mean? And because we live in America, you know, America has a certain side. You watch TV, you're on the internet, you see it, you know what I'm saying, all over the place. You got Love and Hip Hop where their relationships are disasters. You see, like, all our celebrities,
no matter how much money you got.
Exactly, they're disasters. But you see two crackheads be together for a long time. You know what I mean?
That's real.
So what do you think that we should do, being, you know, in this conscious community, in the, you know, into the culture that we're into? Like, what do you think we can do to change that, to really unify men and women? Because I think that's the biggest issues. Men, women have serious beef.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I
first
mean?
of all, it starts with communication, because you're not communicating, or if you are communicating right within one aspect, if you guys can talk on the phone, but then when you're in person you can't talk, then y'all don't need to deal with each other. Certain things, like, it's like a list. It's like a list that you should have. It's like, okay, you know, like, okay, do a line in between the piece of paper, and then, okay, are we communicating? Does this person, you know, answer? Is he get mad at my questions? Like, is he getting agitated? Is he being honest? Is he stuttering? Is he answering my question, like, straight up? Is she answering it straight up? What is she beating around the bush for? You know, people hold back things. I just feel like my main role is that what I try to do, and I really wish a lot of would do, is just treat people like you want to be treated, and nobody really does that.
Exactly.
Nobody, what they do is, like you said, it's like a list of what you do. Okay, I'm supposed to court her, I'm supposed to buy her stuff, I'm supposed to get her stuff. Okay, well, when I first get this man, I'm supposed to cook him so I can get him, cook him some good food, and maybe buy him some shoes, or do this little stuff so I can get him. And then when everybody feels like they got him, then that's when everybody's like, okay, well, I ain't got to do it no more, I got him. So I just think that once people keep doing what they do to get somebody, just keep doing it. And I don't think that relationship should be hard. I don't think that if it's hard, if you gotta work hard at being with somebody, then you don't need to be with them. Because if you gotta work, I mean, there's things that you can be used to. But if it's hard and it's difficult, I don't think this is where you're supposed to be at.
Right.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with maturity too.
Everybody listening should be listening to this and hear that.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, no, it's just working too hard, because that takes a lot of energy. It takes energy away from what you guys could be building together, that most people who are harmonious can do together. Like, if you have a partner, if you have a mate, or you're with somebody that you were attracted to, and everything is on point, and you can pretty much look at each other and be like, oh, okay, or if I'm doing something and this person just comes on, you ain't got to ask them, they come help you, they see you struggling, they're going to sit there and watch you. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference in that. I've experienced all kind of weird dudes, so I'll personally, like I said, I don't really know why I attract some of the men I attract, because I feel like they weren't worthy to be in my presence after I got to know them. And that's the thing, you have to get to know a person. First of all, do you know yourself?
So again,
Do you even know what you want? Does this girl know what she wants? Does this guy know what he really wants? Then it goes back further than that. What type of example of a man do us young women have, or us women have, our generation have?
Right.
Do we have those type of examples of a man know what we're supposed to be treated like?
Right.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes people are just used to stuff. and they're comfortable with negativity and arguing and abuse, verbal and emotional abuse. I'm really used to it, but I don't like it, and I don't want it. I'm not not to keep it in my life, and I think that's where our relationships don't last very long, because I don't have tolerance for the stuff that, okay, if you've been married for 25 years and you got 5 kids, and then you guys aren't together anymore for whatever, you guys were apart, and it was a peaceful party, sometimes people just grow apart. That's fine. You raise your kids, time to go experience, do other things. But then if you already know and you made that relationship back as long as you did, and you guys didn't argue and you were harmonious, then why don't you know how to deal with the next person? That's my question. So why pretend to get something? Like, your man should be able to say exactly what he wants after being with a woman for 25 years. You know what I mean? Most majority of women are the same. The majority of the men are the same as well, but everybody is an individual. But my thing is, it still goes back to you. If you gotta work hard for it, if you're sweating, and you're like, this is on my nerves. Good God, what is wrong here? You gotta keep questioning why are we, combating back and forth over the tiniest, tedious things. It's like,
right.
But is that what you call compromising? You're going to compromise that? That's to me not worth it.
Well, most of the time you got what starts off to be the illusion of a balanced relationship, and the word illusion is very important, because you get to a point after a while where you're with this person months now, and then months turn into years, and then you're looking at, well, I'm the only one paying the bills, and then he or she is like, well, I don't even live here, or you don't even live here, but you here, we've been together, you can contribute, and that the other person is looking like, well, wait a minute, you don't got to be ugly about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have this and that and et cetera, but then that other person that's been putting in the work and taking care of the bills before they even met you, mind you.
Right.
They look at you like you're stunting their growth. You know what I'm saying? And then
that is a situation I just got out of. Okay, keep going.
Oh, well, since you just got out of that, you would be the one to elaborate on that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, I'm just gonna try to give it to you in short. Okay, so basically, I had my own place. I was fine. I didn't have, I wasn't worried about bills. I wasn't worried about money. I had my own little business just started, but it was going up the hill. Right.
However, what I was missing was, affection. I was missing information. I was missing conversation. I had nobody really on my level to communicate with. I had a bunch of vultures and snakes and sharks and vampires, witches and warlocks, and I was drained. I was just completely drained. And I met a brother that basically I was talking to for a while. We were friends. He was able to balance out those things while we were on the video chat, which convinced me. And I really didn't want to be where I was at anyway, so it was an opportunity for me to leave. So I made the choice to allow this person to do what they said they wanted to do. Take care of me and help me heal and get some things settled, and not have to worry about it because they were already paying the bill. They were already taking care of things. They already were, if I were food, I was an addition. I had a monthly income where I could help with food and stuff like that as well. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like it was totally and completely taking care of me. We were like, we came together to make it happen. However, once I got there, we did not talk much. We have nothing in common.
Wow.
It was like I did my part. Everything I said I was going to do, I did. But it wasn't in return. Now, what I did get was, he didn't require too much bills from me. He didn't ask no money from me for bills. You know, I helped with food. I made sure food was available and ready for him when he got home. Maybe once or twice I had to cook when, he got there. But, I mean, that was because I was doing work. I was making T-shirts. I was going to work. I was doing other things. So I could help out. Mm-hmm. So that ended very abruptly because I was going to say the things that, like I said, I didn't finish. What I was lacking was also sex and emotional things.
Wait,
and
you was lacking? He was lacking.
I was lacking. Yeah. No. Well, I was not getting sex. I wasn't getting sex.
That's weird.
Where I was living.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, where I was living, I wasn't high commodity. I was like, I was like the poor white trash there.
Wow.
It was like the total opposite of mentality there. It was like the brothers, like white girls. I was too black, too African, too my light shined way too bright. I was too
Oh, wait a minute. So
I had too much conversation.
So you basically did that to yourself, because it sounded like you was with a person who wasn't.
There. No. Well, listen. Hold on. I made a choice to leave that situation. I did make that choice to move there in the first place, but I was like, I had a roof over my head and everything. So then I moved from there all the way across the stage to go to the South. And then once I got to the South, everything that I just told you I was lacking, which was only emotional information, and sex, those things, while I'm talking to the brother on on the video chat or whatever, those are the things that, lured me to make my choice. So yes, I will accept the choice that I made. I can't be mad at nobody for that, because I made a choice to leave my house and to go stay under his roof. However, I didn't think it was going to go bad that fast. I didn't think that the intentions of the brother were just to, I guess, boost his ego or have somebody that he thought would be in need of him.
Wow.
So that he goes, I feel like I feel like he wanted me there to have somebody that he could dangle around or manage or control, and I wasn't the one. And so when because I'm humble already. I was already humble. I was already like in a situation where I was like, okay, I don't want to have to be homeless.
Right.
So I'm gonna do everything I need to do to get what I got. Get where I gotta go, do what I gotta do. At the same time, we were trying to build a relationship, and I felt like I was the only one trying to make that part work. Because the communication wasn't there. It was like only on video chat.
Wow.
Like, now that I'm there, we don't need the video chat no more, so we don't got nothing to talk about.
Like as soon as you got there, so as soon as you got there, it was just like nothing. Like there was nothing like when you got so when you was there. I mean, before you got there, before you moved and made that move, right?
We talked all day, every day.
Wow.
And then when you got there,
and then when I got there, no conversation. We barely talked. It was just funny looks.
You serious?
Turning up. Just it was weird. It was just, and it was like I couldn't tell if it was a game being played or if it was like his personality, because I didn't ever saw him act like that. So now I'm walking around like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
It's funny because I've heard of those things before.
Wow.
And that's why it's very.
It happens. It still happens.
It's not even a. And it's funny because we have to understand as Niwapians, we're in this society of America, and we have brothers and sisters that are still in that society. They're still in that mindset of what is outside of us. I didn't want to use names like European and white. I just want to do like we're not inside of our minds when we do certain things. because we're still learning who we are, even after 40, 50 years of learning what we've been learning from His Excellency Malachi Z. York, you know what I mean, and others that came with books and taught us, you know what I mean, because it's hard to recondition a mind that's been conditioned. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I hear that, that's like, it's like, wow, she went through it. You know what I mean? And like when I was listening to everything you said, I was like, wow, because I heard it before. You know what I mean? And I've heard it from women, and I've heard it from men too. You know what I mean? And it's very important that is addressed, like, you know, for somebody to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? On video chat, like you said, on Snapchat, and then go, you know what I mean? You come together because he really had no personality for you, with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what goes back to what Brother Ntelek was talking about. He said people play a role in the game, right?
Yeah, he did. He played it real good. He tricked me. I feel like I got tricked. You know, and it kind of makes me feel bad about myself. Like, damn, you're nuts.
Wow.
You fell for that kid? You know, after you were already stable, after you had your own stuff going on, you already had this going on, and all you needed to do was just maybe wait a little longer, maybe be a little more patient with yourself, you know, maybe get to know him a little more, maybe visit, maybe, you know, something. I acted upon an emotion, you know, which I do sometimes. Like
Hey, we got a call coming in from Savannah, Sister Imani Hotep. She wants to know, was the gentleman that you're speaking of, was he Niwapian?
Yes, he is.
Okay, do you have it? So this is it's not a case of being with someone that's not a Niwapian. You have two Niwapians who are having these issues. So that goes to show that.
And we have to. All right, we can. Before I get to the next question, we have to really set the record straight. Okay? We, as Niwapians, are still fixing ourselves. This is a doctrine.
No doubt. No doubt.
So it's a culture. We have to be doctored back from society that we're in. Yeah, you can definitely interject. You know what I mean?
I just want to interject just for 1 second real quick. So basically, though, which I hear what you're saying. Now, what it was with him was he made it appear as if he had it all together. You understand what I'm saying? And that he can help me lift up this myself. You understand? And help me get up there because to balance out, you know, some positive things that I was attracted to, that I needed, that I saw that kind of soothed my soul, that nobody else could do. I felt like he really was the only person that I was talking to in Niwap at the time. So basically, that's where I made my choice, because I was like, well, I don't really talk to a whole bunch of brothers anyway. You know, I mean, like the Niwapian flirt tour or whatever, talking to everybody, trying to, you know, find me a mate to help me get here. So I just chose to talk to him because that's where I was at that moment. So when I got there, it was like the nose turn up, the judgment, the pointing finger, the acting like he was better than me, and you know, it was immediately a turn off for me.
Now, the question I have after that, because you brought something up that's very important. I didn't mean to, you know, cut you off because this is your interview. But is the question I have? You said that, you know, he's Niwapian, and the sister asked, you know, is he Niwapian, which is very important as far as us as Niwapians, that Niwapian things. Does this experience turn you off from Niwapian mate in the future? Because you see how, like, when we have, you know, so it doesn't turn you off from Niwapian.
My sister fighting for them Niwapian brothers. She said, no, nuts.
Yeah, exactly. And that's good.
That's what's up.
I think a lot of times in society that we're in, see, we're Niwapians in this society, in American society, so we have to deal with American stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's an American thing, like where we play a role as men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man, so I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? I know it. You know, and it's like we have to get outside of and we learn who we're supposed to be. So he was a brother probably learning, or wherever he was at in his life, wherever he's at now. You know what I'm saying? He has to learn what it is to be a Niwapian man to a woman, and that was what he offered you which you know, which in turn is not a bad thing that you want.
I'm thinking, right. I feel like we could have. Yeah, I felt like we could have built together though, but I knew he wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? I knew that he was a little more. Well, I thought he was more advanced, but really, I also think that he just thought that I was a little less smarter than he interpreted me when he was over the internet because I was a little stressed out. I was lonely. I was like by myself. Like I said, I felt like I was surrounded by sharks, all those things, sharks, witches, warlocks, and all that stuff, and it was like. I needed him at the time. I needed, information. I needed guidance because I was so far away from it. Once I got there, okay, well, we can still grow together because I know she ain't perfect. So we did have a little disagreement over the little video chat. So when I get there, it was just kind of like I didn't see a pick up a book. I didn't see him listening to information. I didn't feel like I was doing it more than he was. He was still kind of like religiously spooked about certain things, like having bad dreams and weakness, and it was the same things that it was like, okay, but I feel like that at the time, like I said, I didn't turn away from him. So what turned away was how they started treating me. He started treating me like I was dumb. He didn't want me to eat food. He didn't want me to touch this. He didn't want me to touch that. It was really petty. If I didn't have the heart, mind, body, and soul that I do have, it would have turned me off from the Niwap.
Wow.
However, I know Niwap.
So the question is, here's my question. How does a Niwapian woman heal from this stage and then move, you know what I'm saying, move on? Like, how do you heal first? You see what I'm saying? Like, how does a Niwapian woman heal from this and then
the only thing that okay. Well, the only thing that for me, like I said, I can't speak for other women, but I know for me, the only thing that I can do is just, like I said, not use this, like, because he doesn't represent Niwap crew. He's not all the Niwapians. He's just an individual. So I'm angry at him, nor am I angry at Niwapians, because I know that's not the Niwapian way. I also have to understand that maybe he had some issues that he wasn't mad enough to admit within himself that I was. I just think that he saw something stronger in me that intimidated him. That he thought that he would have somebody to teach and pull up towards him, and I was already up there, even though I was back there. You understand what I'm saying? And so, with that in mind, as far as a woman going to do that, I think the healing, she's going to just have to maybe take some time to be by herself. Maybe just communicate with people, keep it friendly, or keep it how we need to do, whatever you need to do, meditate, cleanse, yoni eggs, whatever we need to fix ourselves. And if you need to have like a significant other, because some people can't be by themselves, some people don't like to be by themselves. I know I don't like to be by myself. However, I'm not by myself right now. I do have a family around me, which is fine for me right now. And it's kind of, a little lonely because you have to see, a happy family, which is an example for me. It's just we hope that there is a future in this situation. Like, it's not. I was just him, and I feel like maybe the next him just used him to get me where I needed to be. And so I was just looking at it, I changed all those negative experiences that I had, and I just try to switch them and change them to think positively about things and just keep moving on with my life. Am I angry at him? Yeah. Am I hurt? Yeah. But,
Now, why are you angry at him, though?
Well, because, I'm not really going to detail how this fool was acting, but he was acting a fool.
I mean, because in one instance you say that, you just made a comment about the Netero, if I heard you correctly. You said that you...
Yeah, they used him. I won't say used him, that I'll say that it was the Netero plan for me and him. This whole everything happens for a reason. That's how I look at it.
Right.
Nothing is a coincidence.
Right.
And so I just feel like, he did his part. That was his job. His job was to do what he did. That's how I feel.
Now I'm only asking why are you angry with him based on the question that A and B asked you? He said, "What do we do about healing?" I think if we're gonna heal, we have to begin to forgive people based on our level of overstanding.
Healing. No, I'm not perfect right now, so I am still working on healing, and my healing has to not be angry at the choice. I mean, I'm not angry at myself too. I'm not just angry at him. I'm angry at the choice that I made.
Oh, that's understandable. That's understandable.
I'm accepting it all because I'm somewhere where I'm like I said, where I'm able to heal now.
Right.
I'm not around. I'm not homeless. I'm not sleeping on the street. I'm still getting information. I still got all the things that I asked for. It's just not with him.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, and maybe that's not where I'm supposed to be.
and I think that's important.
You know what I mean?
That you heal. It's like you heal yourself. Like I think that you
Yeah,
forgive yourself.
nobody else can heal me. I have to.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to forgive yourself first. And I feel that
That's
because
what I'm working on right now.
because when you forgive yourself, you can heal. You can forgive him.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's something that we've been taught in our culture, and it takes time, especially the level of hurt, the level of pain, and it takes two, and you know that, and it's something for choices, and to get it clear, in all relationships, both people make a choice. You know what I'm saying? So we're even in like
Exactly.
relationships.
And I'm accepting my part fully.
Oh yeah, that's and that's the thing is that we all make choices, and and when once you admit it to your choices, now the next part is healing because remember he's the other part. You know what I mean? So he has to recognize, and anybody in those relationships, not just this one, but this is why we with people listening, I'm like they're learning from your experience. You know what I mean? And your
because I know some lot of women going through that, and it's hard because it's like once you're bad or you've done the good bad, I'm just going through good bad things. Like once before you came into the you were doing things, whatever you were doing, and then you came into the WAPO, you tried to turn good, and then you have these bad experiences within the WAPO. You cannot let that turn you bad. That's what I feel like sometimes is the goal. It's like I feel like they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep pushing her, keep testing her, keep trying to see how far I can go, see what she can do, and if I can make her. But then my thing is, why do you still want me around? If you're trying to do all this stuff, if you're trying to see, what type of person or what choices am I gonna make while I'm here? Is it because you want me to leave, and why aren't you man enough to say it's been working? Because that's what happened. I was woman enough to say, look, this ain't working.
Right.
We weren't communicating. I didn't feel good. I wasn't happy. We were walking on this blue. It got to the point where we were just walking. It was like two females walking around that house on their cycle.
Damn.
Yo. I'm just
that's
Now you.
You're that
it didn't feel like I was in the house with no man. I felt like I was in the house with a female that I was back with. We were both going through our cycle. That's how I felt.
It's crazy because when you said that, brother, it's like he said, damn, like there was some experiences there, brother. Like damn.
Now you know why I laugh, because even though she went through all these things, she still has a sense of humor, and that means everything. When you can still find a moment to laugh and joke within the concept or the story of your struggle. That's where hope is at. You know what I'm saying? And that's what healing is all about, man. You know what I mean? Not taking things so serious to the point where you actually want to hurt somebody for hurting you or letting you down or challenging you.
And it got there too. It got there. That's what made me leave.
Wow.
And like when I see that, I'm like, wow, really?
And you recognize that and you left. See, and that's
I'm just like, I can't be here.
That's where your conscious mind came in. That's where your God mind came in.
There it is.
So I'm leaving because I don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? And that's where
I could have stayed there and been a VITCH and made both our lives to live in hell.
I can tell you a piece of work though. I'm not even going front. You sound like you a piece of work, and I'm not saying that in a negative sense though. But I can tell if a brother is not on point, you definitely there. Like, yo, bro, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that's a challenge for brothers because they can't. You know, a lot of brothers as well as sisters can't really take that fire like that. Sometimes. You know, when because we're so accustomed to people just not challenging us. You know what I'm saying? So people don't receive that well. So he probably felt challenged by you and felt like you're not, because you made a comment earlier that you felt like, you know, he thought he was better than you or something at one point. So in his mind, he might was on a level where he was saying, you're not even all that because I make more money than you or you're in my house. You know what I'm saying? So just the concept of that, like we don't really deal with that in Niwap on a level that we should. So this format right here is all about that. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, there's healing in our community. So, you know, it's just so much that goes on, and we just really need to address those issues. So I think I want to answer A and B's question. In addition to what you said, I said, these phone calls and these interviews that we're doing, we can only hope that they act as some form or level of healing for people within themselves. Because we've interviewed people and actually witnessed them crying on the phone, you know, several times, several different, you know, individuals. And it gets the conversations get so truthful and so warm and so heated and so fiery. People start, you know, remembering and actually going into it. And you know, of course, we have to edit those shows and you know, not put people, you know, business online. But you know, I think it's key that, you know, you hit it on the nail. You know what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You was honest when you said that you had some feelings towards him. You was angry. You know what I'm saying? And you deserve to be. You have a right to be angry. You know what I'm saying? And you followed that up by saying, but you're not on a level where you want to do him harm, because that's really why you got out when you saw that it was on that level. So I commend you for that. You know what I mean?
Thank you. How will I?
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to hear from you, as far as just my question was, what message do you have for the young sisters, young girls or sisters that, you know, that are coming up, that are about to experience relationships in this society? What advice, based on what you've experienced, you know what I mean? What would you say to them?
I would definitely, first off, ask if their father is in their life.
Wow.
Father, or if they have a father or a father figure, you know, definitely get approval from him first, because there's those things are, we as women, we go off of physical things, like, oh, he looks nice, he's got nice shoes, oh, he speaks well. We can be tricked at times. Like I got tricked. So I feel like, you know, the younger they are, sometimes the smarter they are. So I feel like mostly I think that they should definitely get a parent's approval. That's the first and foremost. Don't get talked out of your panties. don't you know, do anything that you're not ready for. Definitely, like, take the time to get to know it. And really, if you're young, I don't think that they should take relationships too serious right now. I think it's all a growing process.
Right.
If you have somebody that you're interested in, that whatever you're interested in, that he should also be interested in. And then sex should not be the most important situation. I think it's important once you get older, but when you're younger, it's like, I'm like, literally, physical attraction is like the worst attraction. I think that mental attraction should be first and foremost, because you have to have things in common, first of all. You have to be able to talk. You have to be able to communicate. You have to get each other. You have to like each other. It's not really about loving each other, because those things, most of the time, people are not doing loving things. So I just think that I think it's like I said, foremost, ask your father, ask your big brother, ask your uncle, ask somebody that you look up to if there's those people aren't in your life. Not to say that your mom isn't going to have your best interest at heart.
Right.
You know, if that's all you have, then, you know, go there too. Like, I won't say go last, but, but, you know, definitely if you're interested in boys, and boys too. I feel like boys should ask their mom.
No doubt.
You know, we're always going to be truthful about a girl.
No doubt.
We're going to be like, no, honey, babe, you know, we can look at each other and we can tell. Men can look at each other and can tell. And so I just think that we should all have boomies and mamas in our life that can keep it real, because there's really not too many people that will keep it real with you. That's everybody's talking about this keep it 100 and all this 1,000 and blah blah blah. Man, that's not genuine. Like, it's almost kind of like if somebody says that to you, you already know they're not genuine.
Right.
So you're just gonna move on to the next person.
Right.
Because they're not just trying to convince you that they're being truthful. They're trying to convince themselves. So I feel like, I mean, you know, parents too. Parents got to be open to meet kids, boyfriends, and people that they're interested in too as well. Because, you know, we get all panicky and be like, oh God, no, I don't want to be. Don't bring no boys around me. Don't bring that little girl over my house and all that stuff. I think that needs to be stopped, because you need to know who your children are hanging out with. You need to know what type of boy your daughter likes. You need to know what, you know, when your boy is starting to be interested in girls, what kind of girls is he looking at? You know, and start steering him in the right direction. You don't want him being interested in no thought or to bringing no thought home to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want somebody that's respecting herself.
Right.
You know, you don't want no girl chewing, popping bubble gum in your house, saying how you doing and all that stuff. You want the girl needs to have respect for the mom and the father too.
Right.
So it goes both ways. This whole generation is really on some new stuff. They on some new power generation stuff for real. Like I really, you know, I was fast when I was younger, but it's like these kids are on some.
I think it's just the parenting and the guardianship, because a lot of parents are trying to be cool with their children. A lot of parents are trying to be friends and, you know, we're giving our whole generation too much room, and they don't know what to do with what they got. So this is why things is the way it is. So I commend you on saying what you're saying, because you know, not enough parents are adults. You know what I'm saying? Uncles, aunts. Brothers. My grandmother, when we was kids, my grandmother told me and my sisters that what y'all need to do is talk to each other and tell each other, give each other information, and, you know, how girls and boys act, you know, instead of just allowing each other to fail.
Yeah, all this download stuff and secret stuff and all that stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's like those type of things constitute distrust. You can't trust nobody that wants you to keep you a secret.
Right.
So,
right.
You can't trust. It's certain things that people are giving you so many hints by being so out blatantly stupid with the backwards thinking. Like I just feel like everybody needs to start really, like I said, communicating is the main thing. You have to talk. People got to be honest with themselves, you know. And I just think that the kids right now really need to. You know how we used to try to tell the kids, get out of here. Don't listen to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be all in the grown folks' business.
Right.
Well, I think that we need to kind of change that back around and have different generations in the same room talking about the same things. And if you can't have children around you, if you can't take children where you are going, then you don't need to be there. Period.
Yep.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because that was a conversation on Facebook that I had with somebody, and everybody that was parents didn't agree with what you said. That I felt like people should, as parents, you should let your children express themselves so you know what they're talking about. And if you know what they're talking about, you can catch on and guide them a certain way. We're not talking about just them jumping into grown folks' conversation, because if you jump into a conversation, you know when to shut them down as far as certain things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So And people that were parents is like, well, how many kids you have? It has nothing to do with children. How many children I have?
Right.
But I was a child. I was a child, and I knew that I used to lie a lot because I wasn't allowed to say anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't allowed to express myself in the household. So when you do that and you shut them down and you make them afraid to be involved in your adulthood, what happens is they start lying about things. They start running around and doing things, and that's how we get into the relationships that we get into, especially young people. So, I mean, I'm glad that you brought that to the forefront, and I hope a lot of people take that into account and actually, learn from that, because children should be apart, because they're people, and they're only going to grow up.
They don't know anything about culture, about what we used to do back in the day. They don't know nothing no more. They don't know nothing, And it's like, almost like they don't want to know nothing because it's so old. And it's like, no, we need to really get them and go back to the old, because this new stuff going on right now, it's destroying all of it. It's destroying.
Well, you again, I mean, you hit that on the nail. But we got to remember, these kids, but we was one kids, and we didn't know either. But we was taught, and our parents didn't care about being cool with us. They got in our face with it. But today, parents don't get in their kids' face with their culture. So, that's a level of responsibility that people have to take on. And again, it goes beyond being parents. It's like if you're an uncle or aunt or even a neighbor, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just important to help guide a child, just like back in the day where a tribe actually raised the child opposed to you know what I'm saying? So that's 100 right there. You hit that on the nail. But again, I think we're gonna have to bring you back on the show, because you really we're gonna have to bring you back on the show. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even have you speak to some of these sisters that we be talking to, because you actually have a lot of insight and maturity, which is a big issue. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of these people have a bigger problem than not having enough maturity to take on being an adult. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who's older than me that's still acting like little kids, and I know children that are more mature.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm gonna have to look back and be like, maybe like 11. It's like, okay.
Hey, one of the things that we could do for Partner Bab, honestly, one of the things we could do for his freedom is be mature. For real.
Yeah.
Be mature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
and I feel that that's the part that it's almost kind of like I need some advice. I need somebody to tell me how do I keep attracting these immature people when I am not fast. It's like I attract the total opposite me, and that's what I want to work on. Those are the things that I need assistance with.
I could tell you that. I could tell you that off air, though. I could tell you exactly what that is off air, and then if we want to have another show on that live on air, we could do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. That gets real heavy. You know what I'm saying? But we trying to keep like just a.
What's going on right now? She like.
Yeah. A and B, you got any more questions for the goddess, man? Before we get out of here.
Man, I think she answered that.
She sure enough did. She did, man.
Yeah, I did. You pretty much. You pretty much answered questions that I felt needed to be addressed.
Right.
To not just the Niwapian community,
right.
The worldwide community. Because we are here for everyone, and I felt like that is something that's not just Niwapian, it's worldwide. It's all communities, and we need to address that and heal and fix it. And coming from, we need to hear more sisters really out there teaching, because you just taught us.
For real.
There are people that want to listen.
For real.
I'm glad I was able to help, because even talking about it helped me.
See, now that's what's up. That's what's up.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And no, you answered everything. I don't have any more questions. You did just.
I'm glad I was able to answer all your questions. I enjoyed this. I would love to come back again.
Absolutely. We would definitely appreciate it. So, listen, we're going to get out of here for now, and don't hang up. We're going to keep you on the line. Do not hang up. We want to talk to you about something right quick, and then let you go. I know we had you on for a minute.
fine. We got nothing to do.
All right, so we out of here for now, man. WNT9 Radio. We was talking on the concepts of relationships and healing, and the sister really did her thing. Check you next week. Wadu.
Wadu.
You've been listening to WNT9 Radio.
Yeah.